Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot in his sun shirt and Santana Moss, man. Kind of low-key fit today, but still looking pretty good. And guys, I got some exciting news today.
I'm gonna say, what would you say about my shirt?
It's pretty tight. It's kind of excessively tight.
Yeah, it's a small.
It look like a golf shirt, you know?
I mean, man, come on.
Got
look
on
at,
junior shirt.
I don't know.
Good.
Yeah, what's your son's name?
Corey?
Hey, Corey. It's Corey's shirt. You went in his closet today?
It happens. At least I can still rock it now.
That's a good point, though. All right, so I got some exciting news. We are now sponsored, which is exciting.
Yes, we are. Pay the bills.
Unfortunately, we got to do a read now.
All right,
but
pay the bills.
I'm excited to do it. So we are brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. Fred, you're not ordinary.
Never.
We believe every sport should be epic. Tanner, you're always epic.
Oh, yeah, big time.
That's what we are for in-game experience, which covers over 78 sports. I can't even think of 78 sports.
Well, we got paddleball and
They bet you
all
can gamble on
paddleball.
And over 780,000 live streamed to million customers worldwide. Our online betting brand is powered by a world-class proprietary product. That sounds super fancy.
Hey, you know what? You did go to UCLA.
Yeah, proprietary. That's a big deal, though.
Yeah, it is.
Over 7,000 employees across the globe. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365, the official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Fred, you want to read that disclaimer real quick?
Yeah, disclaimer. Let me squint my eyes.
That's too far for you.
21 plus and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, there we go. That's our first read, guys. Congratulations.
We
did it. We did
the great
it.
thing about it, they sponsor Get Loud too. So
Oh, do they really? See, is this the same read you do?
Yeah, same read.
Also, I got
Similar. Yeah.
Oh, there's a QR code. That's pretty
definitely.
fancy.
We balling. We balling.
QR code. Point down.
It's on now.
All right, guys. Got to recap this Seattle Seahawks game. First, though, let's shout out our fan who said what's up to us at the. He said what's up to you, Tanner?
Quinn.
Quinn. Yeah, man. That's awesome. And he came and said what's up. Really
Quinn
appreciate you
was in
listening.
the building.
Yeah. Was that what event was that at?
We had a good time, man. We was at a rally
On Saturday.
in Seattle on Saturday, and when I tell you the fans showed up and showed out, I'm impressed, man. When I go on even those trips, man, to the away games, just to see so many fans, and some of the faces are familiar because you see them all over and over again. And we had a joke going. Jason could attest to this. We was going, and we was like, bro, it's two people we see everywhere. What do they do for a living? And soon we walked in there, we seen those dudes, and we just sitting there dying laughing because I'm like, bro, I was just talking about you, and I was asking about your job. One of them was the Road Warrior and Rally Cap. Those two guys there. Road Warrior is only 37 years old. So I'm like, when you was in your 20s when I got here, you was traveling everywhere.
Super fan.
He said he had a job. I said he must be a nurse or something.
Do they go to the games too?
Yeah.
Go to the games. They go to the stadium.
They go to the rally. They go to the games.
Man,
They go 2-3 days.
Man, Rally Captain is in the front row at our home games. I'm not sure I'm not sure where he sits at for the away game. I'm not sure where his seats is at. But bro, he's right there in the building. So I tip my hat off to those guys, man, because that's what makes you want to, get behind this team and really see them do good when you have
fans like
that's been around forever and they're still riding.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. They always around. And plus a guy named Quinn, that's a last name, that's a first name. You can always trust a guy like that. Like if somebody got a last name for a first name, they usually like a real grounded earth person. Think about the people, like if you know a Nelson or something.
I guess that's Nelson's a pretty grounded last name or last name.
First name,
first or last name. Yeah. All right. Well, so let's start high level. Jason, you're right. Jason just fell
Listen, every time I look up, Jason falling. Like he got this thing in the office when we be doing meetings.
Yeah.
Every time I be like, Jay, do you need me to scoot up? He go out his way. No. Don't you scoot this chair up. He go right behind me and trip. Oh, my fault. I like, dude, I can scoot up. I guess he trying to fight this weight thing. Like, Logan, I think I can be like, you can fit through that. He be like, yeah, of course I can. He trying to turn sideways.
In the meeting room?
In the meeting room. And trip falling out the door every time. He grabbing that little desk trying to hold on. It's terrible, man.
Oh, my God. Well, speaking of holding on. This team couldn't hold on to this win in Seattle.
Stop listening, Seattle.
Let's start with high-level thoughts. And I guess let's start on the defensive side of the ball. And Fred, do you want to kick this off?
I will.
Okay, let's go.
We ain't stopping nosebleed. It was one of them times. Listen to me. Like
I'm about to push back so hard on this.
Fights are with styles. And when somebody just come in and bludgeon you, all right? So I'm just saying this. I didn't see nothing we did well. I felt like some of them calls was on the spot. Execution is a different thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we did not do. We did not execute. Two things we did not do: execute and finish.
Yeah.
And those two things, if you don't do that on defense, you don't give yourself a chance. We need to stop them 50 seconds, Logan.
Yeah.
50 seconds.
You're talking about the end of the game here.
Yeah, and I know that, but I'm just saying 50 seconds. You need to get in field goal range. I'm not mad if they trying a 61-yarder. That means you at least stop them some.
Yeah.
But for them to move the ball the way they did and with who they did, they're saying a lot to me.
Yeah.
So I just want to push back 1 second. And you said they didn't really do anything well, and I would argue that they did some good stuff on third down. And like when you watch the game, and I'm with you, like
4 for 14.
They're getting kind of beat up. You know, it's like here's a 10-yard chunk, here's a 15-yard chunk, here's a 12-yard gain. Oh my gosh, that's 3 first downs, and all of a sudden there's an incomplete pass or there's a bad run. They get to 3rd and 4. They got off the field. They got off the field 10 times in this game. And if you think about it, going into the fourth quarter, before that last drive, which was about 6 minutes left in the game, it was 19-19.
Yeah. And
for a defense that's not played well this year, I mean, I think they're 30th ranked in the NFL at the moment. I mean, and again, I'm not a defensive guy.
Yeah.
But I look at that and I say, like, you held them to multiple field goals. You got off the field when you had to. And it's not saying it's because they were overly skilled.
Yeah.
Sometimes they got lucky. Gino missed the pass, whatever.
I was about to say.
The end of the half thing where he takes the intentional grounding, like, come on, what is that? But I think compared to what they've been doing.
Come on, 500-plus yards?
It was 498, yes.
Like, come on. Like,
But as an offensive, so this is where I'm trying to get to like a kernel of truth here.
All right.
And I remember when we were in 2010, we were the number 4 offense in terms of yards per game, but 31st in terms of scoring.
Couldn't beat nothing.
Yeah. And so we'd had all these yards, and so I don't really care about the yards. And if the defense is holding you to punts and field goals.
Because that's what Pittsburgh Steelers doing. Yeah. They're giving up yards, but they're not giving up points.
But what they are doing is they're making explosive defensive plays getting turnovers, sacks, all that kind of stuff, forced fumbles.
Flipping the field.
And so they can do some stuff there that we are not doing. But as a defensive player, how do you quantify that? Like when you come in on Monday and you say, man, it was 19-19.
What happened?
7 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We did some good stuff on third down. How do we feel about this game?
Just giving up chunks at the wrong time. That's how I look at it. I think they played well. Yeah. And one of the things, I've said this so much now, week in and week out, play competitive football.
Yeah.
They're doing that. But I think when it all boils down to when you're really watching the film, it's a play or two where somebody's not doing I can't say not doing their job, but not going out their way to make a play when it's time to make a play.
Yeah.
The play in front of you, make the play. Yeah. Make a clean play. And that's what it boils down to me. Like, it's a tackle here. It's a pass interference here when you could be coming off the field.
Yeah. PBU here.
It's in the wrong time of the game, part of the field, whatever it may be. And it's been like that the entire year. It's like guys are playing well enough, and then they just say, I'm going to break down today. I'm going to break down right now. This is going to be my moment when I break down. You can't do that. Yeah. We talked about this yesterday. The margin of error
is very small.
It's small.
Yeah.
And when you're a great team, you can have those hiccups here and there. But when you're not, when you're fighting and clawing to try to get wins and trying to become 500, you can't have those mistakes.
Yeah. Hey, this is what I used to love. I used to love watching Yankees game, New York Yankees.
Okay.
And boy, when they hear that call in the Sandman.
Oh, yeah.
Closer. When it's time.
You knew it was over.
I knew it was over. And when I watch good teams, they always got this 1 or 2 guys or 3 guys that close the game.
Yeah.
They close the game. So I asked myself, who's the closers on this defense?
Yeah.
And it's one of them things where you have to really look to say, okay, I'm looking a little bit too hard right now. Yeah. It might not be as many closers as I think. Like Cam Curl, I look at him as a closer. Have he had those situations to close? So I don't know.
I think that's a really good point, though. Like Cam, I think is very representative of the defense maybe at the moment. Like he had 10 tackles.
Consistent.
Right? He's maybe a PBU in there, but like nothing dramatic.
Yeah.
And I look at like this is because I watched the entirety of this game, the Baltimore-Cleveland game, right? Yeah. And Cleveland's one of the best defenses in football, and they gave up explosives,
no doubt.
They gave up first downs, they gave up touchdowns, they looked a mess.
Yeah.
But in the fourth quarter, got interception for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And all that stuff that they screwed up on is now the other way. Yeah. And so I look at this team, and it's kind of what Tana's saying. It's like the other way, right? It's like they did a lot of good stuff, got off the field on fourth down, held them to field goals. But the one touchdown they got in the first three and a half quarters of football was two guys missed a tackle, right? F.A. Obata's not in the right spot necessarily, rushing the passer. So ends up being a huge run for Walker for a touchdown, or catch and run, excuse me. And then all of a sudden, you mentioned the 4th and 5. Great job overcoming some adversity there. They gave up a 20-yard completion prior to that. You get to 4th and 5. I feel pretty good about that, right? And then you have a defensive pass interference. And so there's every I guess my point is every defense in the NFL has those negative moments.
We all do.
But it's, can you overcome it and make the plays when you got to make them, and make a dramatic play to kind of shift it in your favor. You know what I'm saying?
Especially on the road. At one point we had the 12th man, we had him out of there. Like you could hear a roach fart in there. It was quiet. You got to keep them right there. And then not only is it, I just remember coming to huddles in defensively. I got London Fletcher there, Sean Springs, I got Sean Taylor, and we fighting over who finna make this play, dude.
I was gonna add to that, and I don't like cutting people off, but I had to hear what you said.
You don't?
Yeah, because you don't say sorry to me, so screw you right now. That's what I was gonna say though. It's not a playmaker. I don't see enough of plays being made to make a difference in the game. You understand? Like sometimes you're gonna play clean football. It's okay to play clean team football. You do your job, do your job. But then when you look on the other side of the ball, Witherspoon was making plays.
Yes.
This kid flew around, made plays. He made a difference in – I mean, I watched the entire game, and it was numerous of times he made a difference in the outcome of that possession. So that's what I don't see on our defense, and it's been week 11, and we're still looking for that.
That's the shame of it.
Because you're in every game. Now, who's going to make a difference and say, man, let's get us off the field. I'm tired of being out here. You know, I'm tired of being on the field. I'm tired of letting this team go first down, second down. No, let's go get a pick right now. Let's go get a sack right now.
Let's come to the huddle and say, we know where they finna go with the ball.
Man.
Guess what? Shade over top of me, I'm going downhill. Like, that's what a team does.
That's what they do.
No, Fred, they didn't call this play. I don't care. We know where they throwing the ball at. Tell him I did it. Tell him I said it.
I tell this story so much because I can honestly say, and Logan is like he's one of the best guys when it comes to breaking down where the other side of the offensively, defensively, he just know how to look at film and just tell you something about what's going on that I haven't got from a lot of people who's not coaching on a high level. I know he's coaching, but on a high level. But it goes to show you he played in the league. So most guys who played here, who was under good coaching staff, they able to learn and pick it up like that. He did. But when we talk about offenses, 2005, 6, 7, that was the first time I was a part of offense that just said, you're going to get 15 attempts, you're going to get 7 attempts, he's going to get 20 or more carries, and one of y'all make a play. And, bro, our offense won games that way. We went to the playoffs in 05 that way. We went to the playoffs in 07 that way. We didn't have much offensively but 3 guys. And we found a way to be productive. So when I'm watching these games, I'm like, now you come with all these big schemes, these big defenses, we're going to do this offensive schemes. Well, you don't need to do it. Who's going to make a difference? Make a difference. Be special. And so that's what we're missing. I feel like these guys are all capable. Not saying that they can't go out there and do what we asking. We just haven't seen it done at a consistent basis.
And I wanted to ask you something, Fred. So, like you were talking about kind of playing outside a scheme or bending the scheme to the players. Do you need guys with more experience to do that? Like guys that have, or is that just kind of the style of guy?
I think it's a style of guy, a hunger, a nature for the playmaking. D. Hall, for instance.
I'm going to bring up D. Hall now.
D. Hall don't care about what you just called.
He's going to make
this dude done ran 3 comebacks on me. I'd be damned if it's going to happen again. No, so some players just, and guess what? We play off of them. Like, we'll go into a game and let just Sean Taylor be like, hey, dude, they finna try to do this play action. They're going to try to hit this tight end at the backfield. It ain't my man. I need you to cover over top for me. Oh, I got you. What about your man? No, I'm gonna get under your man. Don't worry about it. They won't be able to throw it. So if you got to check him, just worry about the dig. There's people that play together and trust each other. There's people that's identifying that we got to go make a play. And guess what? Nobody cares what the play call was when we make that play.
And did you have like a wide variety of defenses, or was it pretty straightforward?
No, it was straightforward, streamlined. This is how we were dictating the terms. We played fast.
You were kind of adjusting. You were adjusting the defense to what they were presenting, kind of like Seattle. That's what Seattle does, right? Like
they bring you to their wheel. And if you're gonna beat us doing what we do good, that's fine. That's fine. And I think that's what it takes. And I think I think it takes reps to learn how to play each other, but most of these guys have been together for years.
But, I mean, I was thinking about it, though. Like, you know, St. Justice is his third year.
He's been here long enough with these guys to have a rapport.
But I've always wondered, though, like, you know, like I had Cooley here my rookie year, right? Yeah. And so Cooley was the guy that would kind of give you the inside baseball. Like, hey, man, like, you're getting off the ball lane. I'm like, no, man, I'm getting off on time. And he's like, no, like, watch this film. And he'd freeze frame it and be like, no, I see you're late. And I'm like, well, why am I late? He's like, well, you know when the center's snapping it? Yeah. And I was like, I thought I was on snapping on set. He's like, go talk to the center. Yeah. So I went and talked to the center, and he was like, I'm actually snapping it on, like, so it was white 80, the S of set. And I was like a 10th late. You know what I'm saying? And so they have like the tricks, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like when D Hall was here, he had the tricks that he could kind of give to Brashad Breeland, and kind of there's that guy there that knows it, that's been there. And we had London at middle linebacker,
somebody that was willing to change the play situation.
That could help Perry Riley, that could help all those guys out. And I feel like even with offensive linemen, when you get that old war daddy in there that's seen everything, that's seen every pass rush move, he's got something for you that a coach doesn't have. And I kind of wonder, like, I know this isn't a young team, but it's young in spots in terms of experience. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm oftentimes.
So I would guess Cam would be that dude for me.
It kind of, right? But he's not. But he doesn't play that way.
But he doesn't. He's not in the position to kind of make some of those plays himself. Like he's
I'm saying to assign somebody.
He's coming up and making play after play when he's in the vicinity. But one of the things too that you can say is just this goes back to Kyle Shanahan's way of saying it. Hey, overcome coaching. Yeah. I know I got you in this position. Now you go and be special.
Yes.
Like I told you, like every time, like when we have tons of discussions about what a cornerback should be doing, what a cornerback shouldn't be doing, why is he doing this because he's coaching or whatever it may be. But I'm like, I got that. I'm fine with that. Yeah. But once I put you in position, now what made Dion?
Yeah.
What made
what got you to the league?
What made Ed Reed? Yeah. Ed Reed coach ain't say Ed Reed don't do that. I remember being in the game when Ed Reed checked out of a coverage and Chaffee Fields beat Mike Rump for a game-winning touchdown on us, and coach benched Ed Reed the next week because of that. And the next week he gets in the game, the first play he picks off pick six. Yeah. He's special. Yeah. It wasn't his fault that Chaffee Fields bombed Mike Rump. It was Mike Rump's fault. You know what I'm saying? He checked and made sure that damn dude who they threw the ball to the first time didn't get the ball. Now they say, oh, well, we got Mike Rump man-to-man. Let's just throw this thing up here. Iron against iron, whatever you want to say, sharpest iron, all that. But Chaffee Field was the better player, that particular play. What I'm seeing a lot, and this is like I say, we all play this game. We never was just great every time we step on the field.
Nobody
We're going to all have our moments. But the one thing that separates you from just being an okay player in this league, talking about for everybody, is the ones who make that special play, or who gets to the caliber where those guys who's calling the game talk about you specifically because you're consistently making those plays week in and week out.
During that time of the game.
In order for us to be a difference maker on defense, I'm not even speaking about our offense because I feel like our offense have their moments where they just passing the ball up and down the field. Someone's going to make a play. Defensively, I haven't seen someone go out their way and just make that play that's going to just put us or propel us to have that moment in the game where we say, boom, that right there was the.
That's the reason we won the game. That's the reason. Nobody, not one. And we got some great talent on this defense.
Great players.
But when we played Buffalo, I forgot the linebacker that just made.
Mayo.
No. The linebacker for Buffalo.
Milano.
That made play after play after play after play. I'm like, he's the reason.
Yeah.
He's the reason.
Like sometimes you can point out, like Myles Garrett, when I watch that Browns defense, he's the reason. Like you can point out sometimes. Our group, we can't. There's nobody to say, that's the reason we win in these games. Yeah. Now we can say as a group, they the reason we in these games. As a group,
they've been playing well, but we haven't had that display, that playmaker that just like, man,
I got it.
Yeah. And damn, that boy right there. You know what I'm saying?
So a couple things. One, I love that you brought that up, Tana, because Mike McDaniels a couple weeks ago was like, or in some interview he said like it's not about the coaching, it's about the players, and I think you guys are talking about that there, right? It's about the guys that are like elevating, and it's his job as a coach to elevate and make sure that happens, which I thought was really interesting and very relevant. But also I think, like, to your point, Fred, like one of the things that I really wish would have happened in this game is I felt like, you draft Emmanuel Forbes to kind of, we talked about the corners there, as you said a little bit, right? To bump Benjamin St. Juste into the nickel where he's been pretty good this year and then keep Fuller on the outside. And then you get three guys who are more at home, can make more plays, and I really felt like Forbes in his 5 matchups with DK Metcalf had a really good plan. Yeah, and I'm not saying the game's going to be different.
Oh, I
felt like he he looked like he was ready to go.
No, he was ready
and then
to
I
go.
think about St. Juice in the slot and what that looks like. Because you're talking about we're having a hard time passing stuff off. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, St. Juice repped nickel this whole week.
Yeah.
And then now he's outside.
You know after the third play.
And so all of a sudden you get Danny Johnson there who hasn't repped it as much as St. Juice. And then St. Juice hasn't repped it. And so, I don't know, man. I wish they could go back and play this game again to see what Forbes would have done. And to see how St. Juice would have done in the slot.
No, I totally understand what it is. But I kind of take it to, all right, when we start a game, we don't know we know we all come in healthy, but we know we could lose a soldier.
Yeah.
And he could just be out with a hamstring for 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, I look at that ejection the same way. Like, all right, we came in the game.
It's 100%.
Yeah, he got hurt. But I'm with you. I would have wanted to see that matchup and see how it go. Because I saw them playing a lot of two-man against Seattle. And I'm telling you, that plays into the real webs of Forbes way more than it plays into the real webs of St. Juice, because one hunting PBUs and the other one hunting picks. And now I ain't got to play high on the guy. I can go out here and just make play after play after play. You right. A guy that's trying to touch the ball would have had a better day on him. But do we, in turn, see they're going to give and take of it? All right, if Forbes is playing, do we stop the run? So it's always a question to another question.
Yeah, but I think that in those, I think he had 5 or 6 snaps. He had 3 where he's matching up with Metcalf, and it just like he was just anticipating what he was doing. So I was like, man,
he was shadowing him. He was shadowing him
so
very well.
Cool to see if that would have played out. But so talking about the rest of the defense, obviously that's one element. The linebackers, I thought Jamin had a pretty solid day.
Jamin Davis, man.
And again, like nice to see his evolution. Defensive line, quiet day, but I think John's playing better. I think Casey's doing some good stuff with John, elevating him.
I saw them kind of doing some stunts and stuff. John got called for one of them. That was just kind of
talking about when he grabbed
him. That was like, come on.
But I like to see a guy trying to free up a guy. So I'm always good with that. Jones, I thought, came in and spot play, made a couple of plays in there. And I just think Jamin, I changed his middle name to F. Davis.
Elf?
F. The letter F. The letter F. Jamin, man, quietly is having his best year ever as a NFL pro.
It's good, man. I'm really excited. He's playing physical football. He's playing smart. Like there was a play, I didn't show it in the breakdown this week, but they're running Wanda, so outside zone away from the tight end. And the tight end's to the same side, so they're bringing a cross shift action, right? And then they bring a jet sweep action. So when they do that, this is really complicated, but they're adding 2 gaps week. And so Jamin, as last year even, would have just run straight in the play side A gap, and there would have been a huge hole to the other side. He plays all the way back and makes a tackle for a 1-yard gain. And I thought that is a great maturation by him as a young football player. Also, guy we got to shout out is Percy Butler.
Yeah,
he did a great job.
Phenomenal.
He missed 1 tackle, but he made a ton of tackles, ton of plays.
He's playing with a different gear now too. He's always been reckless.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But he's also now you can see that he knows what he's doing, and so he's flying around there and going out.
And I like to see it. He just calmed down a little bit. Because at first he was that little wild puppy just all over the place, energetic. But he just calmed down, and he letting the offense take him to the plays right now.
And then we got to kind of hurry up here, but let's talk about the offense real quick.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of good things that the offense did, but it all happened kind of late. And I feel like everyone says, the defense, they had 81 defensive snaps, they couldn't get off the field. But I feel like there was a sequence in the first half where the offense, outside of 2 explosive plays to B-Rob, wasn't really getting a lot done. And then all of a sudden, late in the fourth quarter, they come to life, make a ton of plays. Like, what's the balance there? What are our thoughts on that group?
It was stagnant for the most part. I think, you hit it dead on the head. Those 2 explosive plays, you would have thought we'd have had more production out of those, just especially that first one. You know what I mean? After that first one, I was sitting in the little press box and like, okay, this is going to be one of those days for us. These guys come to play. But then, it's like I said before, same way where I saw on the defense. It's a player here when somebody's not doing their job. You know what I mean? You get a guy who comes through free. For the most part, man, is what I'm enjoying watching and talking about maturation of players. Man, Sam is slowly starting to get it. Like you're seeing different guys, you're seeing different fronts, and you're like, okay, they bringing 5, they bringing 6, and then those 2 guys dropped out. It's 4 guys coming, but it might not be that 4th guy that we thought. So that one guy we didn't pick up, he's finding that guy to dump the ball off to that is superb, man, for what we've seen earlier.
Really nice.
You know, from what we've seen earlier this year. So I was happy to see that. I'm happy to see that we can be productive. I'm even more happy to see that late in the game, he can go out there and be a young Airwolf gunslinger. You know, I'm going to go out there and show y'all guys why I'm called who I'm called, why Fred gave me the name. We asked him about that last week, too, on the podcast on the Players Club, which one of these names he liked. He loved Airwolf. So just to know that this guy can really – we could depend on him to be a playmaker, too, and bring us back in the game. I mean, what more could you ask for? But with all that being said, we still have to find a way that we can do what we're doing and be consistent with it. It seems like that's the word I've been using the whole,
with finesse right now at its finest. We could toss it. We need to be able to play bully ball when it's time to play bully ball. I think that's the next level and maturation of this offense. And what I'm going to tell you what I do like about this offense. Now that I look at the schedule, this could have been the best defensive backfield they were going to face all year. I think that collectively, mixed with game plan, the way they run it, this was the best defensive backfield. I thought Terry had spots in the game where he showed I can do whatever I want to against this defensive backfield. I felt like the others, and when I say others, I'm just talking about the Pringles of the world, the John Bates of the world, leaked out and made plays. But then it's the Dotsons of the world. This was a measuring stick for a game for him, too, going again. Because now the other number 2 corner is still a top corner. So it was some individual battles on offense that we didn't win, but I was more high on the ones that we did. So when I started to line people up, I looked at the offensive line against this defensive line. Not one of the highest sack team, but they will get after you. I watched the offensive line hold up in spots. I watched, like I said, Terry get down the field. I watch him battle, but then it's these other people that come up missing. And in a game like this where everything is kind of equal, everybody got to kind of put they shoe in the head and say, you know what, I got my couple of plays in here too, but we had some people that didn't come up and make plays.
I was scared coming into the game talking about their offensive weapons on the outside, and I feel like our DBs did a great job for the most part. You know what I mean? You know, that pass interference here and a bad play here, but I was expecting way more production from our guys, but the running backs had that day. So, you know, if someone's going to have the day, we were still able to be productive. We just didn't finish the game.
Yeah, and I think just high level. So, you know, maybe a little disappointed with the receivers that they weren't more productive. But I do think that Seattle deserves a lot of credit in the back end because I felt like EB came in and said, oh, they run cover 3. Here are our cover 3 beaters. And Seattle knew how to match those.
They did
really well.
I said I think it's the best defensive backfield we will see this year.
Yeah, so I think that's good. But you know, and I think the other thing is you said, Tan, I just got to bring this up for the offense, is that despite kind of a sluggish start, you know, 3 quarters really. They came out and they always give you a chance. Like Sam, and I think that's something about Sam that's exciting. You're always in the game. And we were talking about this the other day.
We ain't felt like this in years.
It's
feel like this in years.
And the other thing too, that fumble took a lot of momentum from us, man. That fumble. I mean, you know how you saw something finna happen? I'm like, just go down. When I saw him getting spun, I'm like, please go down. And then the ball just slowly finds its way off, you know, out of his hand. So stuff like that, man, you really never know until it happens, and then you can still see the momentum just switch.
But I can say this: we down 6, 7, 5 minutes to go. We need a touchdown. When Sam is on that field,
feel good about it.
I feel like, and guess what? He goes right down.
He's gonna
so it's real.
And that throw at the end of the game, man, was
sick.
One of the best we've ever seen. So we are brought to you by Bet365. Right now, new customers can choose between 2 offers when they open an account at Bet365. Either the first bet safety net $1,000 or bet 5 get $150. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, the official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders. All right, Fred, you want to read that last one?
It must be 21 plus and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Great job, Fred. Awesome work. Okay, so now let's get to the dig deeper section of this podcast. And so basically what our producer Jason did is he picked out a couple of stats which I think are really interesting. And we're going to kind of peel back the layers of the onion and figure out whether they're legitimate or whether they're spuriously correlated with something else. Okay? So the first one I think is awesome. It's Benjamin St. Juste is tied for the NFL lead in pass defenses with 15. What does that mean?
It's good and it's bad. I'm telling you, it's good because he's been between 15 balls that was meant for wide receivers to burn him. He PBUs, hard to get in the NFL.
Yeah.
Bad because they got that many numbers of throws your way as a dominant #1 corner. So at the end of the day, to get them type numbers, you must be getting that type traffic. Because top corners don't usually get that many chances to make plays on balls.
So, yeah, to that point, Fred, like, I looked up Sauce Gardner, right? And I was like, how many contested targets does he have? So that's ones where you can break it up potentially, right? And so he had 25. I was like, that seems like a lot.
10 games.
Yeah, I was like, that's a lot, you know? And then I looked, how many do you think Benjamin St-Juste has, Santa?
Like 40-something.
75.
Thank you.
75. They are hucking the ball at this man. So, and it's also important to note that in those matchups, he does pretty good. But he draws, right now, every week, they find a way to put him on the best player.
And guess what? Sauce Gardner, every week, is on the best player.
Right. But he only gets how many targets? 25.
No.
But
and he ain't getting targeted because he's in the hip pocket.
They also know that Sauce Gardner has a knack for the ball.
He's a threat.
They understand watching St-Juste that he's not picking nothing off. He's either going to PI you or he's going to PBU. He's going to get a PBU.
So why not keep tossing?
So as a receiver, I heard your standpoint. As a receiver, I'm going to keep coach. I don't care less how many PBUs he got. Throw at him. I want to throw it. And I'm not saying it because, I think very highly of St-Juste. I just see at times he panics when the ball gets around him, and that's what causes him to have these attempts thrown at him. Teams want to say, hey, he has great coverage, but he's going to PI you because he don't know how to just allow the thing and finish finish through the play. So he has to minimize some of those moments where he just like blow his gasket when the ball in the air. Hey man, just calm, breathe easy. You're there. You got great coverage. You're there. You're alone. Read the guy's eyes in his hands.
It's so simple.
Every time.
It's so simple. Cause here go the logic of teams. All right, St-Juste is their #1, but we're gonna stay away from Fuller. Because you know why we're gonna stay with Fuller?
You know why?
Because he gonna get the ball back.
He gonna get the ball back, and he's smarter. Fuller is
consistent,
a slower D Hall.
Very consistent.
No, I'm just saying. D Hall was he was running with the best, best of the best. Fuller is patient. Man, I be watching Fuller sometimes. I'm like, boy, don't play with that boy over there. He making precise tackles. He's right there on the ball.
He's playing well.
You have to be exact with him throwing the ball in his vicinity. So that's why you get what you get.
And that's the tail of that take. It's just like if a receiver getting 100 chances to catch a ball and he catch 80, and then my other homeboy, he don't get but 65 attempts and he catch 63. Who the better receiver?
Right. So, the other thing I just wanted to ask about, because I think this is relevant, is the matchup. He draws a tough matchup every single week. Because Sauce, like we're saying with this comparison, Sauce plays exclusively on the right side of the defense, right? He doesn't travel with the #1 guy. And so
he plays on the left side
or whatever. He have been doing a little bit of that this year, though.
Yeah, he has been traveling.
But I'm saying is St-Juste will play the slot, follow the best guy. He'll play outside, follow the best guy.
To his credit, St-Juste's credit, who else are we going to put on those guys?
I guess that's a good point. I guess that's a good point.
So you asking him to do what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
That's like my coach when I was at the Jets spoke to the media and said, hey, I need my run out the catch guy to, make more plays. And the media came right to me. Tanner, coach said that you need to make more plays. He didn't say my name, but they knew.
Everyone knew.
You the run out the catch guy. Yeah. So, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? So he's the guy he can do that, so we're going to put him on those guys.
So what advice would you give him, Fred?
I would. Tanner said something.
Don't panic. I like that.
Don't panic.
Start to physically impose your will on games.
Yeah.
If you're gonna give me the chance to check these #1s, you're gonna give me a chance to showcase these guys, especially in the contract. Here, I need to finish like he did against Drake London in Atlanta. No Paddock in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But then you get with DK Metcalf, and now you're doubting yourself a little bit. And the one thing about corners, we can't hide how we really feel because you can see it on the field. All right. Finish the play. Because the one thing I can say about him, he never out of phase. He never burnt. He's always in phase.
He's there. That's why he's playing them.
Finish the play.
It's two things I would say. Finishing is one. Because I love to watch the end of a lot of plays when it comes to our passing game or anybody's passing game. To see how that receiver, how calm he was when the ball got there to him, and how that defensive back how calm he is. And I was a guy, I'm late hands like a mother. I'm gonna be running around and I see the ball behind your head and I ain't showing you nothing. My eyes are nothing. And in the last minute, I'm either gonna jump over you or I'm gonna whoop, you know, because you know defensive backs, when you on in your bag as a defensive back, you got to the point to where you cannot even have to turn. I
don't have to turn back.
I'm gonna look at your expression or your hands.
If the eyes
and I played corner long enough at a old enough age to understand that when I see that guy go to do this, I'm just gonna get right between the hands. Right. I ain't gotta touch him. When you get between one of the hands, they gotta make every catch hard. If you make that hard catch, kudos to you. You made it because I made sure that other hand didn't get up. So what I would say is, one, finish better, bro. Just kind of get into your thing in the off season because right now we kind of too late in the season to start reading the expressions, the eyes, the different things like that. And before you even finish, start. Find a way to slow guys down before they get into their routes. You know, we talk about this all the time.
Get physical.
Man, he's too long.
6'3".
Too fast.
219
Too big to not put hands on everybody he's in front of.
Sure.
And the only reason when guys don't do that is because they respect you too well and know that, man, if I miss, it's going to make me look bad. So stop having respect.
At the end of that game, that last play with DK Metcalf, if you tell me it's 2-man, I'm inside, first of all. I'm jamming him, finna make him run the hump.
You talking about on the post?
I'm talking about on the post to end the game.
Yeah.
I felt like there was a two-man coverage.
It was 2 men.
And that screams press.
That screams put hands on
and not only press, jump. I'm talking about I'm jumping in your chest.
Because you got help.
My responsibility has shrunken.
Know your responsibility.
Yeah, so I'm attacking one
help.
Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I think he needs to start using them God-given gifts that only he has.
Look, I understand when you man, I don't want to press everybody either when I'm man. Like as a corner, I'm not gonna miss. But I might get in front of you enough to slow you down before you, because he's long enough to do it. But in 2 man,
get up there.
Be overly aggressive.
Overly.
I'm talking about, I saw Forbes do it last week, and I'm like, ooh, that's what I've been wanting to see from DB. Because it happened to me so much to where, you know how you want them kids that your mama beat you so bad or so much to where when your brother got a whooping, you was over there giggling about it, like
he deserved everything.
Like that's how I am as a receiver watching the game now. Like I'm kind of bitter to see these guys have so much free access. I'm like, God damn, I ain't get that treatment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish I was them.
I mean, I
can see why you got all those numbers. You got free access. So when I see our guys be lenient to that and not allow guys to get off and do what they do, it frustrates me a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to like more recent cornerbacks. No offense, Fred, but just
what you trying to say? The guys I check,
because no one really.
I would say this.
Good.
My generation of football. Don't forget, I came in while Jerry Rice and Tim Brown were still playing with my classmates. Then we had to check the T.O.'s of the world, the Randy Moss of the world, these boys, Santana. I think we played the golden age of wide receivers.
Oh, stop.
I'm just telling you now.
So
more Yellow Jackets in my group of guys we had to check than any group of guys ever.
But what I was going to say, and this is maybe a conversation for a different show, is basically that now receivers are so polished. They're so polished at every level of the game. Like, think about 7-on-7s, right? You do 7-on-7s since you're 5 years old. Yeah. And I'm training receivers in high school, Katana, that are 13, and they're like, they know stuff that I didn't learn till year 5 in the NFL. They're accelerated. So I wonder. This is just one of those type of things. I wonder if that's changing the calculus for them in terms of pressing versus not pressing.
But 2 things could be right. And I'm just saying,
I don't disagree, but I'm just curious because when you look around the league, pressing is down.
Yeah,
free access is up.
You're right, but the one thing that I can't understand is if I see you in 2 man and you're in the face of a guy, why not take advantage of having help and knowing I can just slow this? I can just blah blah blah.
You watch AJ Terrell do it when we play.
I can do what I want to do.
They'll do it every once in a while, like
you know what I'm saying. Like, and that's just my question with that.
I think the wide receivers are still wide receivers. I just think at the end of the day, the defensive coordinators and the techniques that they're teaching are a little bit more laxed.
In general, you're saying,
a little bit more laxed when we was a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. And probably too because of the game, you can't do so much with your hands.
The holding calls are up.
Yeah, you touch somebody before the game.
Who knows? But like I say, man, like that's all I want to see from him because I think he's great, and I've been a fan of him. I think the world of him. Especially, and I'm not just saying this. But when you have that many PBUs and they're trying you, then kudos, you're making them plays. But it's the plays when
that you don't make,
and the plays that you're making that don't count because of you using something that you didn't have to use. Like pulling on a guy or just nutting up. You know what I mean? You can't nut up under pressure.
Yeah, all right. So another guy that kind of – so Forbes, obviously, not Forbes, Fuller – or not Fuller. St. Juice, there we go.
Yeah.
I think his, maybe not the best performance, but a guy that we're confident in. We're confident in his skill set.
I'm totally confident.
And hopefully that he'll be able to improve over the next couple weeks because we've seen him have really good games and seen him play well, specifically against the Giants. I mean, that was one of the best games he's had this season, probably in his career. Can he repeat that again this week?
So see, that game, too, that Giants game is a microcosm of what's going on. Yeah. He made all of those plays. And then he didn't make the one that needed to be made.
And then one of them they gave to the dude.
They gave it to him. But I'm just saying that it's the timing of when your playmaking happens.
100%. So, we'll keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on his development. We'll bring that up on the show as we see fit. Another guy that I think is maybe a little bit more positive at the moment is Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
He looks dynamic
in
a way that I wasn't expecting. So, as of right now, he's 19th in the NFL in rushing yards with 485, which is way higher than I thought he would be. And he's the 7th running back in receiving yards with 256.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him? What do those numbers mean to you? I'll start with Santana.
Man, just think about it. You say he's 19th in rushing yards, and he haven't been. Man, the man leaving games with 8 carries. I mean, give him a chance. But it's not even saying give him a chance. You know, when we do have those opportunities, I understand why EB goes away from it a little bit because it's just not looking
super efficient.
It's not looking efficient enough. It's not a what you call it. They have a term that they use when it comes to that play was this because of the chances of making the play.
Success rate or something?
Yeah, success rate.
Okay.
So I look at the success rate of some of those runs. I'm like, yeah, that's why we doing the screens now. No, honestly, because
I'm with you,
it
man.
just looks like a crowd in there that no one
just
can
trying
find
to
their
fight
way
to
out
get
of.
in the club.
But as a playmaker, as a whole, no one thought he would be this dynamic as a pass catcher. I mean, we saw that he had that skill set, but we didn't think that it was going to. Because you see so many guys that have this opportunity in this offense in Kansas City, they had a different kind of frame, they had a different kind of style of run, but even that we have those guys on this team, he's outplaying them. He's outdoing them because he understands, look, man, this is my way to still be productive. So, coach, leave me in. I can do it. You know?
And just also, like, to toot our own horns and give ourselves some recognition, we did say he could lead the team in touchdowns and could be the MVP this year offensively. Because I think, we all said that. We agreed to that.
Yeah, and I remember we watching him at training camp, and we was like, he finna get the ball in a couple of different ways. And the crazy part about it, we would have thought it would have been more rushing than receiving right now.
I feel like we have so many other guys that can do what he's doing.
I can tell you this. When I watch film, I always, because the great backs do it all the time, they leave DBs in their wake. Yeah. They leave us like on the ground. Like if you look at film of a great running back, catching or running, it's usually DBs scattered all over the ground. When I watch this violent guy run violently, he leaves DB like they not trying to hit him, Tanner. I watched 3 guys try to cut him low in Seattle, and that's a physical defensive backfield right there. And they refuse to hit this man, but above the waist. They tell you how powerful he is, how skillful he is, and it only brings up the question: what if he touched the ball at least 15 times a game? Catching and running. Right. Like, what does his numbers look like then? So he leaves that big old void of what if. But we know how the play calling of a game can go. You came in wanting to do this, but once you get in the game, you got to do what the other team giving up. Yeah,
and also think like when you look at teams that are really efficient around the football, they're built a little differently. They emphasize stuff a little differently. Like, this was not a priority for this offense this offseason. They didn't do a lot of running during OTAs and minicamp, which is what most teams do. That's fine. They've prioritized the passing game. They've prioritized Sam development. I think that's all, especially the Sam development part. I think is the right thing. But teams that are good at running the ball, like even like looking at Seattle, they don't take a lot of negative runs because they really strive and work and strain to get good angles and make sure guys know how to handle different looks. Because really that's the hardest thing in the run game. It feels very defensive in this way. Like when you talk about defense being reactive, a good run game is reactive because I can present a 4-man front. I can present a 5-man front. I can present 2 linebackers and a safety. I can present 2 linebackers and 2 safeties. How do we block those looks? And so getting that repetition and getting those looks, getting that communication and having the tools in the run.
You've been watching film.
Yeah.
It's been a big difference pass-wise since Chris Paul and Loss.
Yeah.
How has it been in the run game?
I think, you know, Chris is a young football player. And I think one of the things coming out of Tulsa, I think is where he went to school, was that he was a little bit raw. So there's times where you see him not understanding, hey, I need to sit on this double team a little bit more. Or, hey, I'm out leveraged on the double team. I need to leave early. Or I need to take a better angle. And so that's stuff you see with young offensive linemen in the run game because it's reps. It's like seeing the combinations, understanding the combinations, understanding how much time I have. So I think he's still working through some of that stuff. I also think, you know, in this game, for example, I thought it was great that the most successful runs were outside zone runs, which we don't run a lot of, but I like that he changed it up. EB got to some different play calls, and the runs were targeted correctly. You know, we got everybody hats on hats, guys covering guys up, and then that's what you see. This group they're physical up front. They're fast up front.
I was going to ask you about that because I was going to say, like, at some points in the game, when we have those runs early, we go nowhere, getting nowhere. And then you saw late in the game, we had both of those guys had 2 or 3 runs that was just exceptionally ran well, had, you know, plus yardage. So I'm like, what's the difference from when we ran them then and we ran those guys before? Or did we not run the same runs earlier in the game?
I think they was different runs.
So, yeah, we ran our runs that we normally run, which is Wanda, which is open side run away from the tight end, pop, GT, we run those a ton. And not a lot of sledding on the ground there. They were ready for it. And so also I think this whole offense is built around throwing to open up the run. And so you see kind of the benefits of that late in the game because everyone's defending the pass. You get better boxes.
The DNs are ready to pass rush. You run off tackle at them. Like he said, now the linebackers where they were snug to the line, they waiting on crossing routes now. So you
get nickel versus base defenses, right? And you can move the ball really well. And so the thing I just want to say is, like, when they target runs correctly and the combinations are clean, they run the ball well. It's just about how maximizing that. And to me, it's just a reps thing, right? So if you want B-Rob to run the ball more, it's like we need to clean up. We need to emphasize that more in the week or in the offseason or whenever.
So now you said that we all picked him to lead the team in touchdown. Do you remember who I compared him to? Arian Foster.
You did.
And you didn't see it then. But after 100 yards receiving, wasn't that very Arian Foster?
I didn't see it.
I think I was on the same page.
But I feel what you're saying now.
Because y'all remember him, I don't know if y'all
I just think Arian Foster had that glide, by himself, and he put that foot in the ground.
But size-wise, they the same size. Because B-Rob is not small. He's not small.
Arian Foster played for the Texans, right?
Played for the Texans.
He just had that. Remember, he had that cutback.
He had that gallop. He had a gallop on him. But smooth bodies could bump off of people, could break tackles. It was that type of dude. So most definitely, I thought Arian Foster was a great comp for him.
Yeah, so I'm excited for him. Each and every week, it just shows that he can do more and more in this offense. And hopefully they do find kind of a rushing identity and something that works for him earlier in games so he gets more touches. And I think that would also help the defense a little bit.
That's why I say 15 touches a game. I don't care how you divvy them up.
Right.
15 I should never lead a game and he ain't touched the ball 15
He's shown an ability to be a playmaker, and that's exciting. And someone else who's shown a tremendous ability to be a playmaker is Sam Howell. Okay, so this is a long stat, so just stick with me as
I'm with you.
Only the 8th player in NFL history to have 4 games of 300-yard passing in the first 11 career games. Okay?
Yeah.
The first to do it since Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert in 2020. 3 consecutive games with 300-plus passing yards, the most consecutive games of 300-plus passing yards for a Washington QB since Kirk Cousins in weeks 14 to 16 of 2016. So obviously, dude's playing good football right now.
It's something.
It's something.
Yes.
It's something. So what are our thoughts about him? And that statistic doesn't mean anything. Because if I was a hater, which there are haters in the national media, so I'm just going to parrot what they said.
You used to be a hater. Change your life.
They're saying that all this volume from a passing game is leading to these inflated statistics. Kind of like he's playing in the air raid in college.
Yeah, basically trying to say, like, he Kirk Cousins getting garbage time.
It's not even garbage time. It's just we throw the ball 70% of the time.
But he still got to throw it on point. He still got to read coverages. Matter of fact, it's set up for him to have more error than the average quarterback. Because think about this. Usually when a quarterback comes into the game for his first couple of starts, we do everything in this world to hide him. We do everything in here to protect him with the run game. We try to protect him with a good defense. We have said, Sam Howell, here. Here goes everything. Not some things. Here goes everything, and he's excelled and gotten better week in and week out. They can say what they want to about my boy Sam Snow, the 5th round bastard. He will not be stopped.
Hey, well, you can say what you want. Damn if you do, damn if you don't. But you look at it like this. There's been many quarterbacks put in this situation where they had to throw the ball. And we haven't been saying the same thing
Tommy
about
DeVito.
We haven't been saying the same thing about how accurate they've been.
Yeah.
Oh wow, did you see that play?
Desmond Ritter.
Wow, did you see that clutch throw at that moment of the game? Wow, did you see him throwing to that lane, throwing to that hole? So yeah, you can talk about when is he throwing it, how much volume it is, but you got to complete the pass. You got to give the receiver a nice ball enough to make the play, and he's done all of that. So they can screw themselves with all that.
Because they want to find out a reason why or why not.
Yeah, everybody want to hate for no reason.
Well, also, I think to Tana's point, those haters, they don't watch the games.
Yeah.
Because if you watch the games, you see a guy who, over the course of the season, understands, hey, it's a hot situation. The ball needs to get out of my hand. Or, hey, this is how I manipulate the safety. Or, hey, let me just deliver like one of the best big-time throws of the season in a critical moment against Seattle over 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, he delivers the goods. And I think that's something. So, like, the numbers I think are great. But I think when you watch the down-to-down stuff, you're like, this could be something special. And I think that's why there's this conversation about him.
And that's why I hate people. They will judge you about your draft status so much. I don't care. After you get into the league, I don't care what pick you were. At the end of the day, they hold the 5th round against him like they do any. I'm sorry. The top 10 quarterbacks that get drafted, 1 out of 4 might make it. All right. Well, we just happen to find our guy in the 5th round, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I think, and that's the other thing is people forget that he was going to be the first quarterback selected, and he slipped in the draft a little bit.
It happens.
And I understand why he slipped. Like I was part of that group that was evaluating him, and I said, "Oh, maybe this is why." Whatever. But I think you see it now, and he's exceeded expectations.
Yeah, he's a pro's pro.
He's shown a composure. He's shown a leadership.
And that's all it's about.
He's done all that stuff, man. And like you said, Dana, every week, especially for the last couple of weeks, he just delivers those big-time moments.
The ceiling continues to rise for him.
It's not like he's going out there just winging it, and you saying like, damn, he threw 5 balls over these guys' head or threw 5 balls in the vicinity, but it just didn't get there. No, he's completing those passes.
Hey, it's so funny because C.J. Scribe, which I was a big fan of, number 2 pick, balling. Is he in the MVP race? I don't see Sam Howell in the MVP race. Last time I checked, had more yards and touchdowns than he did. See, that's what I'm telling you. They got this prom queen thing in the NFL with draft picks. Like they want to make Mel Kiper right. They want to make him right and everybody else wrong.
But it's also just to the, chime in a little bit on that C.J. Stroud situation. He took a team, that team,
they're winning games too.
Garbage last year, and now they're winning games. And then he's young; he's a rookie that's playing like that. So I can see why they're talking. Him being MVP, caliber or whatever.
We are brought to you by Bet365. Get your straight bets paid out or parlay selections marked as winner when your team goes up by 17 points, regardless of whether the opponent comes back to win the game. Fred, that sounds pretty cool.
So you mean if any point in this game they go up by 17? I get that break.
I guess so. Is that what you think?
Yes.
Money.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So this year, teams have gone up by 17 points, and we've paid out nearly 52 times this season as of 11-9. That's awesome, man. So if they're up by 17 points by any point, great job.
That means when we played the Broncos and they was up 17 on us, and we came back to win, it was paid out. It was paid out.
4 times this season, both money lines have been paid out because of NFL early payout and the end result in the game. One of the 4 was the Commanders game, which you just said, Fred. It's almost like you read ahead of the script.
No, I didn't. It hit me.
Typical Fred.
No, it hit me that we was down a lot of points and came back with the young Airwood.
So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365, the official sports betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Must be 21 and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Go Bruins.
We did it.
Go
Got
Bruins.
through that. Thanks, guys.
Listen,
appreciate it.
I knew UCLA was a junior college.
And so now we're doing Never Tell Me the Odds, right? Okay. All right, let's get to it, boys.
Yes.
Never tell me the odds. All right. So
Han Solo.
Our odds.
That's who made that.
Yeah.
Quote,
So do you remember the quote? What's the context?
Well, the droid was telling him the odds of them making it through this asteroid field.
Is that true?
Yes, it is. And then he turned around and said, "Never tell me the odds." All right.
Han Solo said it.
Yeah.
Boy,
all right, man. I got to review that a little bit. Okay. So odds to make the playoffs this year at 4 and 6 are roughly 6%. If we
so
win,
you say we got a chance.
If we win the next 2 games, so we beat the Giants, we beat Dallas.
Yeah.
We'll be at 30%. So talk to me about that.
If it was a fifth.
Yep.
What?
If it was a fifth, we'll all be drunk. That's what it is. You don't know that saying because you're not a drinker.
I don't know that. I don't know that
but
saying.
that's most
But I
definitely
mean, like, this is something that coaches used to say to me all the time, or say to us.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, we're still in it.
And guess what? We are.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how bad it looks now, if we ever going to beat the Giants, it has to be now. It would never be another DeVito under center to give us this chance. Yeah. Right? I'm telling you now. The Cowboys, I'm not worried. We always play up to our points. Yeah. That doesn't. It will not shock me if we beat the Cowboys.
Yeah.
It will not shock
They're
me at
playing
all.
well right now.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just saying, making it back to 5. Once you back to 500 with so many games to go, you got a legit chance to make the playoffs. And think about who we going against. Yeah. In those, we going against who? The Saints. For like the 7th.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, look at the teams that we're going against to try to get that. All right, so the Minnesota with Josh Dobbs. So these are the teams. It's very good chance. Tell me the odds.
Yeah, no, and I think if the defense plays a little bit better over the next couple, which they might. I know it's late in the year for them to start improving, but
you can always get better.
I think that the Sam thing is big for me. Sam's playing good football, having a good quarterback.
You know I'm that dude, man. I ain't jumping the gun.
No, we're not jumping any gun.
No, it's just business in front of me. Yeah, I know the odds, what you're saying, but I'm like, I can't look ahead when I got the Giants who we ain't beat yet. I care about Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito, whoever the DeVito. We got to beat these dudes first. When you beat these guys, then we start talking about Thanksgiving and what we may do up there.
What's your percentage of us finally beating the Giants this week? Do you think it's an 80% chance we beat them? 60% chance? 50%? Where you at?
Look, where I'm at, they just better beat them. There ain't no percentage. You better beat them. Because at the end of the day, they got a numerous of guys that's ill right now, that's hurt.
They got tons of people hurt.
You got DeVito, who everybody's saying he can't do this and can't do that, but it just be our luck that he go out there and look like a damn world beater. So I'm not into that. I don't like to blow smoke.
And we're going to talk about...
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
And we're going to talk about that more on our Friday pods. Make sure you check that out. But I basically what we're saying here is that, and this is what if I was the coach of the team, I'd be like, hey, hasn't gone great, but we're still in it. We got to handle our business. Handle our business. Let's beat the Giants, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But you're not out of it yet. Got to win some football games. And to me as a player, that's all you can ask for. Right?
Make DeVito look like an actor. Make him look like an actor trying to play football. Yeah, make him.
That man a football player. He just
that man has been thrust into the light and for something he didn't ask for. Listen, I don't know what's worse in the NFL right now. The backup lineman situation or the backup quarterback situation.
They're both bad.
They are terrible right now.
I totally agree. I think, but yeah, it'll be an interesting opportunity to kind of check that out. And again, got to win football games, and hopefully get that done. So, Fred, I got a question for you.
Anything you want to know.
So I saw you for the show next week, or for the show on Friday. We're doing a pie bake-off. I saw you come with the pie.
I did.
I had a question about your baking prowess. Sorry, no, not your baking prowess, your farming prowess.
Okay, cool.
And your process.
Yes.
How like smart are you in terms of renewable stuff? Are you?
I'm very smart.
How
Captain
smart are you?
Planet.
So let's talk about it real quick. Why you say you're Captain Planet?
Because I love the Planet One. I'm a big listen.
Hold on, he gonna think about it first. I'm listening.
I like to recycle. I'm big on recycling, and I'm big on compost and stuff like that.
So recycling. Can you talk to me about your recycling process?
Yes.
Like, what do? You just recycle?
Well, really, recycling is nothing but separating garbage from recyclables. Recyclables are plastics, glass, and certain card boxes. So what I do is, in my kitchen, I got 3 garbage cans. I got 3 garbage cans, one for like food and trash like that. Then with my recyclables, I don't play with that. I want that separated. I want it cleaned. So, for instance, let's just say we got a mayonnaise jar. I'm not throwing the mayonnaise jar in what's name. I'm going to wash the mayonnaise jar first. That's the etiquette. Wash it. So when you put it in there, it don't smell, it don't reek.
So, Tana, is glass recyclable?
Yes.
Is it for real?
Don't ask me. I throw everything in the garbage.
You throw everything in the garbage? I'm not sure that glass is recyclable.
Yes,
I know
they do. They refresh it, they reclean it, and they can break it back down to liquid and reshape it and make more new
liquid.
glass.
What the hell are you talking about? It's sand, right?
Yes, but guess what? It starts off as liquid before it hardens, molten.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But I don't know about this glass thing. So we actually have an expert here.
All right.
Ross.
Yeah. Right.
Ross Guberman is an expert in recycling.
All right.
And so he's going to join us, and we're going to ask him some questions.
So you going to call my bluff?
Yeah, that's why we brought him in. You thought he was a special guest? No, he's here.
He was a regular guy.
Brought him here. We brought him here because I knew you were full of malarkey. So, Ross, thanks for joining us.
The glass can be cleaned.
It can be. I'm not saying it can't be cleaned. But
and you could probably sell it back to the same exact.
Okay, so that's why Ross is here. Ross, how are you? So, Ross, what is your official title?
My title is Senior Vice President of Sustainability at RTS.
RTS. So that's a pretty. So, Fred, you're sweating now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Look at him. Look at this.
I see it.
Hold on. Let me get that off. No, I am not. I'm doing it from the consumers, the customers side of recycling.
So
he's doing it from the top.
But he's here because he's going to tell us what Fred said. Was there anything factually incorrect about what Fred said with regards to his recycling process?
The process of cleaning it all is spot on. You got to clean your recycling.
No one's disputing that. Yep.
Nothing there. The glass, that's a tricky one. One, I would say try to reuse it. That's a higher use for it. The recycling is really tricky with glass. It gets broken down. A lot of places don't want it. In Virginia, you need like those special purple bins, usually for glass recycling. Otherwise, it's kind of trash.
What are y'all laughing? Y'all acting like you just proved me wrong.
Do you have a special purple bin for your recycling?
I'm from Mississippi, from the hood.
Mississippi, huh?
Mississippi, it's definitely not getting recycled.
We've been recycling the mayonnaise jar and making it a Kool-Aid jar.
So that's not recycling. That's reusing, right?
That's reusing. That's a higher use.
That's a higher use. So when you say higher use, what do you mean by that?
So you want to think of the highest and best use for material.
Okay.
So one, can you reduce using it in the first place?
Okay.
And then you go down the kind of list. Can I repair it? Can I reuse it? All the way to can I get recycling? Recycling is the end of the line before you have to.
And so why? So glass is not super recyclable, right?
Glass is really heavy, and like there's not really a market for it. Like sometimes you'll see shiny like sidewalks or road because they put glass in some of that.
I didn't know that.
So they use it as filler in concrete and stuff like that. But there's not tons of great use for glass. So if there's not a market for it, there's not really an economics to collect and recycle it.
Yeah. All right. So in addition to giving you a hard time about your lack of recycling knowledge, but to be fair, before I talked to Ross, I didn't know that glass was kind of borderline recyclable.
Yeah. Neither.
We got a game today. So you do a lot of stuff at the stadium, right, Ross?
Yes.
Yes. And so we are going to do a quick game. How would you describe this game, Jason? You had a good name for it. Catchphrase, right? And so basically we will go around the group and say things we think are recyclable at the stadium as a consumer. Okay? Right. So who wants to start?
Oh, I'm always good for
it. Start? Okay, you're going to start?
Yeah.
So, and Ross is going to judge it. All right. So, Jason, we just go real quick through the whole thing, or how do we do it?
Yeah, 5 seconds.
My number one recyclable thing at the stadium, the plastic beer cup.
Is it?
That they do the beer snake with.
Okay. All right.
The cup is not getting recycled.
What?
So I knew a lot of our recycling was getting sent to Japan.
Whoa, calm down.
Recycling used to go overseas.
I knew that now.
Right.
So
not Japan, but overseas.
I'm blown away by that. Plastic cup is not getting recycled.
So plastic cups are recyclable, but when it's getting mixed with all this other stuff, it's not going to get recycled usually at the facility.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to say you're out, I guess. According to Jason, you're out of the game. You're done. Like, I don't know how this
I'm not worried about. Well, we got 2 more questions.
I'm gonna say, do they sell metal beer cans at the stadium, Jason?
Yeah, aluminum.
Yeah, I'm gonna say an aluminum beer can would be recyclable.
Why
right?
are you asking Jason?
I never been to a game. Like as a fan, I watched the game in the press box.
You know what they serve.
Yeah, I've never gone to concessions. Have you gone to concessions? I go up to the press box and get free food.
Assuming that bottle is empty and free of the liquid, then yes, recyclable.
Okay. Okay, my question will be the food, the little carton food tray.
It's already recycled.
It's cardboard.
It's like styrofoam carton type of.
So it is
cardboard.
recyclable, but it's not getting recycled here because it's mixed with food, it's mixed with other stuff. Most people are probably putting it into the trash with all their other.
Like me, right?
Yep,
They
just like you. Yep.
So it's not getting. So the only way to get that to be recycled would be if it's clean.
So for recycling to get recycled, it needs to be clean and free of contamination.
Got you.
Me.
What?
I say it there from the door.
So I win the game?
So tell me this,
Awesome.
though. So tell me this, though. When we're home, right, and they have these big old containers, these garbage containers, and saying you need to recycle the stuff that you use, why is it that we recycling all this stuff that's not clean, that's not going to be recyclable?
I think that's more.
Well, that means you're recycling wrong.
No, exactly what I'm saying. But
and who talking about to recycle right?
Look, this is the first time I've heard that the stuff that people telling you that to recycle, you can't use it if it's been contaminated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you know what I'm
education
saying?
on it has been all over the
So
place.
so I've been doing the right thing. Just throw it all in the trash.
But actually, that's true. Also, if you're not going to clean it, it's better to go in the trash.
Really?
It's if it goes to the facility dirty, it just takes more
They
money
ain't
to
using
actually
it.
recycle.
Don't say thank you, Fred
Smoot.
Why are we thanking you?
Because I said that is the number one thing.
You said-
Number one thing is, can I reduce what I'm making in the first place?
Reduce what you're making. So what's an example of reducing what you're making?
So when you go to the grocery store, you see things that are packaged 5 times in plastic bags. You know, can you buy something different? Can you buy something that's loose? You know,
Can you buy refills instead of
Can you get refills, bulk
Yeah.
sections?
Yeah.
You know, you're thinking about your consumption habits are probably the best choice you have. As
So it's
as
better
a
to
person.
reuse it than recycle it.
Reduce,
can.
reuse, and then recycle.
That's the last
That's why I grow
That's why
my
it's in
own
that order.
vegetables and coffee beans.
Stop. You don't need to grow coffee. So one thing I wanted to ask you about. So at the stadium, we were talking about recycling at the stadium. One of the things you guys are thinking about implementing there is a thing called Cycle.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Can you explain what that is?
Cycle by RTS. It's really fun and exciting. It's a way to engage the fans directly with recycling. It's a reverse vending machine like you've seen at grocery stores. You put the bottle and cans in, and normally you get money out. In this case, it's a rewards platform. So you're getting different rewards. You could get tickets to games. You could get discounts at the fan store. You're able to then get a clean stream of those bottles and cans, and it makes sure it gets recycled. We collect data on it. So it's a really fun way to engage people in sustainability, which often you don't get to see. You don't get to see energy efficiency. You don't see this stuff going in the back of house if they collect the food waste. So this is a way to really showcase sustainability and get the fans involved.
Have you used this model other places, and how successful
it was at the Super Bowl. So you know, anyone who got to go to the Super Bowl has it. We're working with a bunch of other teams and stadiums. We have one at Red Rocks in Colorado at the concert hall. So it's really fun. It's really engaging. Everyone really kind of gets into it. You'll see people kind of like running around collecting bottles and cans just to get in there because it's rewards.
Yeah.
So kind of like
that's funny. Hold on, I got to stop.
Go ahead.
Because you brought up something, recycling the cans.
I used to do that when I was a jit.
I've been saying, when we was young, growing up in the hood, recycling, we weren't recycling to save the earth. We were recycling to eat.
For the cash.
So the can man, the guy that takes all the aluminum, is that aluminum that's being crushed, is it being recycled?
Yes, so aluminum is almost infinitely recyclable, and it's always domestic. So again, kind of going back to when you buy things, try to buy things in metal, and then plastic, and then last glass. So think of when you buy beer, is it canned? So like I always go for canned beer over glass bottles because it's a higher impact for glass. It's really heavy. It breaks everything.
Yeah, that was like my little Saturday morning little thing. I used to go out and crush the cans that my dad done used for the last month or whatever it was, and you know the beers he bought.
It was a way of life.
Yeah. And I used to crush them, and then we bag them up, and I go get me a couple of
Logan knows
man.
nothing.
I used to do that. I used to have a big collection of aluminum cans because I'd get an allowance.
Yeah.
So my allowance was any.
I got allowed to live.
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. So I'd have to get like any can. If you had a big party, keep all the cans. Anything that kind of like with the 5 cent recycling on the bottom. I think you could do glass at the time.
And wasn't it the bottle tops too? At the time? It was the bottle tops.
It was the bottle tops. It was the bottle tops. So that's it. So you talked about something interesting there with the glass versus metal bottles and like diverting. Yeah. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so when you want to like think about your choices and you're consuming and you want to be able to divert things away from a landfill or incinerator, you're trying to think of like what can actually be recycled at a facility. Okay. So again, thinking, is it made out of metal? We're trying to avoid plastics, but plastic is still generally much more recyclable over glass just because. Again,
really?
Gosh, that's crazy. Glass, like you go to these facilities, they have mountains of glass. They're holding onto this material until the day they find a good contract, something to do with it.
Really?
Glass is really used for filler and stuff like this. Like our parents, glass was reused, so it made much sense. It's hardy, you know. You bring it back to the store, you fill it with your Coca-Cola, your milk bottle.
Right.
It made sense then, but now you're probably not refilling your glass bottle. So now it's just shattering and it's breaking and it's getting mixed into all other materials. So it's actually contaminating a lot of recycling.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's fascinating.
You know how people think is we think kid like. I was like, why don't they just throw all the glass in the volcano? You know, that's how, you know, everybody thinks that. Like,
there aren't enough volcanoes around.
Just a good active volcano. Just go to Hawaii and just drop all the glass.
Iceland's got one that's about to go off.
Yeah, so put it in there.
Yeah.
My dad said that he used to work for NASA in the aerospace industry, and there was a big program when I was younger to launch trash into space. And then someone was in a meeting and was like, well, what if it explodes? And then you get all this trash raining down, or it's like radioactive waste.
Yeah.
So you got to really think about the transport of that stuff.
Yeah, I just thought that the Earth already has this recycle machine called a volcano.
Well, for the glass,
and
that would
work.
I
just think the lava would incinerate it, right? If I dumped a lot of this glass in there.
Well, I don't know if you know, but that is a thing. They incinerate trash, right?
Yeah. Yes, incineration is definitely a way to treat trash, and some of it collects energy. Some of it's kind of straight incineration.
When you say collects energy, like
there's impacts everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to live near a landfill. You don't want to live near an incinerator.
Yeah.
So where are they being housed? What communities are they affecting? Again, if you're reducing what you're making, then you don't have to bury it. You don't have to burn it. Even.
Ain't they like siphoning like gas from landfills? Like
yeah.
not
so there's
propane.
A lot of methane.
Methane.
So all that food you put in the trash, when it goes to the landfill, there's no oxygen being mixed in. So it's releasing all this methane. And methane is very potent for greenhouse gases.
Yeah.
And that's accelerating climate change.
And so they drawing it from the bottom, right?
So there's leachate. So there's you have food sitting around. It's all liquid and gross. Yeah. So that goes down to the bottom of the landfill, and then the gases go up.
Yeah.
So tell me this: who's using that methane, whatever?
I think they
trap
it off,
the methane
right?
and sell it.
So they try to trap the methane, and they they'll generate energy from electricity.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
so
Fred,
we get energy from so many other places where we spending money for it. Why we can't just go do that?
Well, because if common sense was common, this would be a better word.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Why don't we ask Ross?
Exactly.
Who's the expert?
I ain't asked you.
Yeah, you said common sense is common.
Common sense is common.
You just like to hear yourself. Same level, you know.
Common sense is
so, Ross, what do we use the methane for?
It's a world where they want to get your damn.
No, you use the methane for the heat factories. You use the heat anything.
What are you talking about, Ross?
Yeah, so methane gets captured. It gets burned. It turns, turbines to eventually generate electricity. Sometimes they can't do that. It breaks down. They have to like burn the gas. You've gone through industries. Sometimes they have flames coming out. That's when they can't really do anything with the gas, so they have to just burn it off. So it's not a sustainable way to do it. It's better than letting it go out into the atmosphere.
It's me and you, and then it's Dion.
So Ross, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully, Fred, you've learned something today about not saying nonsense.
Hey, we knew we was on the same level.
Stop, man.
If y'all need to hire somebody, just know Captain Planet.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
So Ross, thank you so much for joining us, and that's going to do it for today's show. Thanks so much.
We are brought to you by Bet365. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. That's why we offer an in-game experience which covers over 78 sports and over 780,000 live streams to 90 million customers worldwide. Our online betting brand is powered by a world-class proprietary product and over 7,000 employees across the globe. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365, the official sporting betting partner of your Washington Commanders. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Virginia. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.